Hey, what's going on, everybody? So today I just wanted to talk about and review something that's currently going on in the StarCraft scene. Um, Specifically, we're going to get into watching some gameplay. I also have some analysis. So you know, I'm not the most educated person to talk on this. I follow StarCraft a lot. I love the game, but specifically Artosis and Tasteless are for those of you who don't know, they are the English casters for StarCraft. They're infinitely more wise about the subject. So we're going to be watching an Artosis video today. Kind of going to go over some of the points that I'm going to briefly touch on, and then we'll listen to what he has to say about it. But anyways, the happening that is currently going on that's in question today, this video is FlaSh, who is the greatest gamer of all time, StarCraft player. He is switching to random. So for those of you who don't follow StarCraft or don't know what StarCraft is, it's an RTS game. Basically, you are building bases and controlling armies against an opponent in order to destroy their stuff, right? Now, StarCraft 1 specifically, I don't really care for StarCraft 2, so this is StarCraft 1 anyway, so if you're interested in StarCraft 2 or whatever, that's fine. It's not going to be touched upon today. StarCraft 1 specifically is the most mechanically demanding game on Earth. It's the hardest game on Earth, period. And to reach Grandmaster level, which you see in the video today of Africa TV Star League, or ASL, which is the StarCraft League in Korea. I will provide links to the stuff below in the description. To basically be able to play in that, you are so good as a gamer. Be able to play at the top level in the hardest game in the world, as you can imagine, you have to be incredible. So there's this guy named FlaSh. See him right here, this guy. He is by far away the best StarCraft player of all time. And it's not close. Like, he is head and shoulders above everyone else at the hardest game to be a master at. And he is better than all the other master level players by a lot. So he's the greatest gamer on Earth, period. For those of you who follow other esports, you might think of like, well, how can you be the best player if there are different esports and different players? StarCraft is the hardest game. I don't think there's any disputing that at this point. And he is the best player, and he's the best player by so far. So when you think of people like different scenes, like Faker, for example, League of Legends, Simple, or other people from CSGO, Crim6, or I don't know, Shotzi. There's a lot of different players like COD, for example, Snipe Down or Lethal, like Frosty and Shotzi from Halo 5. There are all these players that are at the top of their respective esport. They're not close to the level of dominance FlaSh is compared to the rest of the top people at his esport. So the difference between Snipe Down versus Lethal, Halo, for example, is relatively small. Some would even argue that one is not even better than the other. Others might say snipe down's better or lethal's better than snipe down. But the margin is small, right? And across some of these esports, perhaps League of Legends is an outlier because Faker, I don't follow it, but from what I understand, Faker is pretty dominant there. But it's a less demanding game. So what I'm saying is FlaSh is so much better than his contemporaries in his esport, which is the hardest esport. He's just the best gamer of all time. Anyways, let's get into what we're talking about here now. So StarCraft is an RTS, as I mentioned, and you can pick 3 races. You can pick Terran, Protoss, or Zerg. Early on, people played. There's a thing you can do where you can play as random, where for the beginning of the match, the computer will randomly choose what race you are. You do not have the information ahead of time, nor does your opponent. So it can just randomly roll you Zerg, for example, or Terran on any given map. The problem with this, early on, people played like that because they were trying to get good, or they enjoyed playing multiple races. But as the skill gap widened, and as people focused and became, more professional in the scene, it's changed. It was no longer viable to play random. You had to specialize. You had to pick a race and focus on getting better at that race. So FlaSh has been so dominant in StarCraft. He is a Terran player, so out of the 3 races, he plays Terran. And he is so good at that race that he's basically considered unstoppable. He's lost very few series, period, to anybody in major tournaments. And when you talk to his fellow contemporaries at the top of the game, some of the best players in the Protoss or Zerg or Terran race play against him on a regular basis. When they enter a tournament, they say something like, I like my chances, but FlaSh is in this tournament. I think I could get to the finals, but there's FlaSh. They have to acknowledge it because it's such a looming threat that any tournament FlaSh is in, he is considered the favorite. And I don't know who else you could say that about in any sport or any organization in any sport. And it's very incredible. So what FlaSh has decided to do is, since he has been so dominant as Terran at the top of the scene for so long, this season, ASL Season 10, which would be fall 2020, he is playing as random. So he is no longer playing as strictly Terran. He is having the computer randomly decide his race for the start of each match. Now, to give us some context about what this is like, I could go on and touch on my knowledge, but Artosis here, who is one of the most knowledgeable English or American, foreign players, because if you're not Korean, because this is the biggest Korean esport, if you're not Korean, you're considered foreign, basically, and probably a lesser player, but Artosis is one of the most knowledgeable people about StarCraft, so instead of me rambling on about this, I think we should just check into his video and listen to what he has to say about this. And then we will get into the gameplay. FlaSh's gameplay. His first debut was random, and we're going to watch that and react to it. I will link Artosis and his video in the description, as well as ASL, the video that we're about to watch. After this tournament video, I'll link that in the description as well. But without further ado, let's check in and see what Artosis has to say about this. Fair disclaimer, I will probably stop the video, both this Artosis video and the tournament video, certain points to just put in my 2 cents. because I don't really want to talk over cast or the video itself and interrupt the video. So I'll probably pause it frequently, but I'll probably pause it and make some comments here and there. Additionally, to save time, we're going to be listening to this at a dialogue is going to be sped up so as not to waste everyone's time too much. So if you're not used to listening to people talk at 1.75 times speed or whatever, get used to it, because that's what I'm doing for this video. So, all right, let's go.
Hey everybody, I want to talk for a little bit about a huge thing that's happening in the StarCraft scene right now, and that is FlaSh switching his race to random. I think a lot of people have been asking questions since he made the announcement, and he's playing. Literally tonight, I'm going to be casting him. So it's a very exciting time, and I want to just kind of hit upon all the points as to what is going on with this. So first off, why is he doing this? Why is he switching from Terran to random when he's basically the favorite in every tournament he plays in? Well, first off, he is the greatest player of all time. He really has nothing left to prove. Let's take a look down here and look at the article. So he won 3 MSLs, he won 3 OSLs, he won 4 ASLs, he won a WCG World Championship, and he won 2 of the GOM Agritech Intel Classic Championships. He is by far the best player of all time. It is really not even close, and there is nothing left for him to prove. Let me show what his ASL career has actually been. So those 4 victories, here's how his ASL career has been, right? He went to StarCraft 2, and he did all right there. He won an IM, and he had a pretty good win rate with Terran overall, but he switched back right before ASL Season 1 to StarCraft 1. And in ASL Season 1, he ended up getting eliminated in round of 8 to Last, who was the best Terran that was still playing in StarCraft 1. He lost 3-0 to him there. Okay, so FlaSh lost in round of 8 when he came back. He won ASL Season 2, he won ASL Season 3, he won ASL Season 4. ASL Season 5 is kind of an interesting turning point. It had the most anti-Terran map pool ever seen in any tournament, and FlaSh actually mentioned this in an interview that he gave to TeamLiquid.net. Let's take a look. It's an awesome thing to read. So look at this, motivation for ASL 5 and some final words. Question: the new ASL maps seem quite difficult. Some have said that they pose challenges for Terrans. However, since the maps were released just a short time before the opening of the ASL, is there a chance that you can adapt to the maps faster than others to overcome any imbalances? And FlaSh's answer: this is a gray area. It is true that I adapt quite fast, but I think the road ahead will be quite tough. However, this has only reinvigorated me. To be honest, winning the last 3 ASLs had drained me of motivation to some extent. This is the good part. After seeing the maps, I surmise that this is how far they must go to stop me. I am extra motivated to show that it is not enough. I'm working hard on cracking those maps. It will be tough. Tell me that isn't epic, right? So that was definitely true. That was a ridiculous map pool. The win rate on a bunch of those maps for Terran ended up being 0 in certain matchups. So that season went a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm just going to chime in here real quick. That's a good point to make. The tournament organizers literally made it impossible for him to win, basically. Maps they chose were so heavily weighted against Terran, FlaSh's race, that for him to possibly fucking win that thing would have been incredible.
Too far. And in fact, FlaSh did not win that season in ASL Season 5. He played the best Protoss versus Terran player ever in the game, Snow, in the round of 8 and lost 2-3 in a very narrow defeat. So FlaSh was not able to win that one. Then FlaSh came back into ASL Season 6 and made it all the way to the finals, where he played an old nemesis in Effort. Effort's considered the second best Zerg of all time, and Effort is the only player that is completely undefeated against FlaSh in best of 5s. He beat him 3-2 in an OSL about 10 years ago, and then he beat him 3-2 in the ASL Season 6 finals. It was a magnificent series, but Effort was able to take FlaSh down, so only getting to the finals there. Then FlaSh decided not to play in ASL Season 7. He cited wrist issues, so I guess we just have to take that at face value. He did not play ASL Season 7. FlaSh came back for ASL Season 8, and he won it. And who did he beat in the finals? He beat Snow, the Protoss player who had eliminated him on the hard maps, and he beat Snow 4-0. It was a really dominating victory. And then in ASL Season 9, which was the last season of ASL, FlaSh made it into the round of 4, and he lost to the eventual champion Zero, aka Queen, and that was a 2-3 map score. In the series, he actually tried to win purely off of mind games and strategy. It was not how FlaSh will normally play a tournament, because his macro and his micro and everything are all top tier, but he tried to win in an almost completely strategic way, and he even said in an interview afterwards that he felt it would be more satisfying to win like that. So that already feels like last season he was kind of playing around, not necessarily bringing his ultimate strength and his absolute best strategies. But I mean, obviously Zero is a great player as well, so I don't want to take anything away from him there. So taking a look at that, right? FlaSh played in 8 ASLs. He won 4 of them. He made the top 4 in another, the finals in another, and round of 8 in 2, right? So that is an unbelievably dominant position. In fact, it's become kind of crazy in ASL how strong he is, just how strong he is as a player, because when other players are being interviewed, they always have to mention him. He won't even be in a group, right? It'll be early on in the tournament. They're like, oh, you're the best Protoss in the world or something. Do you think you can win this tournament? And they're like, well, I mean, I can do well until I hit FlaSh. You know, those types of things happen in interviews all the time. So basically, FlaSh doesn't really have anything left to prove. Playing random is a new challenge for FlaSh. And, you know, I guess that's why he's doing it. He wants something to motivate himself. Now I want to clear up some misconceptions on the rules behind playing random. A lot of people have asked about some of these things. For instance, do you have to tell your race to your opponent when you get it? The answer is absolutely not. No, that would make random even more unplayable than random already is. Yeah, I mean, that would take away so much from the race. They have to scout FlaSh. They have to actually check and see what he is to be able to play against him that way. Also, some people have asked, like, what about race picking? Can he decide for certain maps or something to choose race? The answer to that is a hard no as well. You have to declare your race before a professional tournament and play that race throughout. There have been race pickers in the past, but that can lead to really terrible situations where you both race pick against your opponent's race. How would you solve something like that? That becomes too much of a kind of grayish area on rules, and so that hasn't been allowed for at least 20-ish years, maybe 18 years, 19 years. So yeah, you're not allowed to do that. FlaSh will just be random every single game, and when his opponents find him, there you go, they know his race. All right, let's talk about the history of random players a little bit to put this into some context. There hasn't been a professional random player since about 2002-ish, 2003-ish. The best random pro was really considered CHRH or Chura. He played random way back, like year 2000, maybe year 2001, and then he switched over to playing Terran. Despite the fact that he was actually a better Protoss player, he had a higher win rate when he got Protoss, he preferred Terran, so he did switch into the Terran race from there, and was still a reasonably successful pro at that point. Some notable people, I believe Elky played his last Star League with random, but didn't win any maps. Gur, at the beginning of his career, was a random player, but went into Protoss as his professional career picked up. Other than that, there was stories before I Love Uv, who is one of the Terran Bone Joys, one of the greatest players of all time, and the only player really that you can kind of mention around FlaSh level dominance for his era. There were stories about him being able to play each race and beat his opponents with them, even top-ranked pro gamers with all the races, but he never played random professionally, was always a Terran player. There was, occasionally we've seen, like, for instance, I remember one game where Choja, one of the geniuses of StarCraft, a Zerg player, wasn't allowed to go Zerg on a map. I think his team had in Pro League chosen Zerg for that map the previous week, so he went random against the Zerg and actually did a giant Marine Medical and won against his opponent there. But that's not really playing Zerg professionally, it's random professionally. That is going random one time. In the foreign scene, we've had a little bit of random. I think Ariador is the only, or Liquid Drone is the only player that truly is random and a high-tier player. I know that Testy, a lot of people said he was random. He did play random some, but really, he was a Protoss player. His other races were far behind. Historically, for people that play random, and people know this when they play ladder and everything, generally, Terran is the race that random players have a harder time with. Some of the things, like, for instance, Terran versus Terran, that takes a long time to learn. It's a very strategic matchup that has a lot to it, so random players will have a hard time with that. And then, Marine Micro against Mutalisks and that type of thing, the ins and outs of holding Protoss rushes. So generally, Terran is the weakest for random players, which brings me to the next thing I want to talk about the theoretic strengths for FlaSh as being a random player. So he's a Terran player, so he already kind of gets around what is normally hobbling a lot of players that are trying to play random. Terran is his best race by far, so that's really going to help him. It should be mentioned, right, already, his Terran is favored against everyone in the world. So when he's going random and he gets Terran, it's even more favored because his opponents don't know that he's starting with Terran and he knows their starting race. So his Terran is actually much scarier. I've seen some of the pros actually talk about this, where it's like, it's already impossible to FlaSh his Terran, but if he goes random into Terran, it's, you can't really do anything at that point. He's just so strong. Some of the other theoretic strengths here for FlaSh. First off, we know that his Protoss is really good. There was a point in time where FlaSh's Terran was #1 rank on the StarCraft Remastered ladder, and his Protoss was #7 rank. And his Protoss actually had the second highest win rate amongst top Protosses on that ladder as well. So his Protoss, we know, is very, very strong. And also, just playing random, obviously you have that advantage against your opponents because they don't know your race, but that advantage gets a little bit stronger in different situations. For instance, playing against Protoss, it's really important for Protoss to know the race that they're up against. The early building placements, even the very first pylon, is crucial for Protoss. If you're playing against Zerg, your first pylon has Protoss players. Also, we should talk about the maps for a moment in this ASL Season 10, right? Because that's a big part of it. The maps play a lot into the random race. So for instance, Benzene and Eclipse, these two maps are both two-player maps. So his opponents on these maps will be able to just go scout him instantly. They will know exactly where he is, and they can just go check what race he is and play accordingly against that. It'll still give him a little edge in that regard because you have to send a scout out. Like, when are you going to send your scout out? What time? But those two maps are probably the ones that people are going to have the easiest time against FlaSh on. Let's jump over to Plasma. Plasma is a map that is a semi-island map. So you can't actually attack your opponent early on. It's a little bit harder to scout your opponent, but you can send SCVs, probes, drones, etc. through to scout where he is. But that one plays very weirdly. I'm kind of feeling like there's going to be a lot of vetoes on Plasma against FlaSh because that is going to be hard to open correctly, but maybe not because it is a little bit islandy. People are not going to be afraid of being rushed. So maybe that actually becomes a good map against random. That's the one that I'm kind of up in the air about right now. The other maps, Optimizer, Polypoid, Ring Bloom, Shakura Temple, these are all 4-player maps. So randomness plays a huge factor in this because you simply don't know when you're going to scout your opponent. For instance, if you scout them last, that's very, very late. You get to the last base almost 4 minutes into the game a lot of the time with Terran, for instance. Not knowing, like, if you scout him first, great, you have that information a lot earlier on, but if you scout him last, then his random advantage can get harder and harder for you. A lot of the races have to also do, you can choose different ways to play against random, of course. You can just pretend, you can be like, I think he got Protoss, and play against Protoss. But 2/3 of the time you're going to be wrong. So what a lot of people do is do a build that's strong against 2/3 of the races and is doable against the other race. Because that's about as good as you can get for build orders. So those all look like some pretty strong advantages for FlaSh, right? Those are the theoretic strengths as being a random player, in my view at least. Let's talk about the theoretic weaknesses of what's going to be happening here with FlaSh playing random. I think micromanagement is a big piece of this. He just shouldn't be as good in micro situations as his opponents. Players that have been microing Dragoons, controlling Dragoons perfectly.
This is a good point to make as well. So, touching on micro that's controlling your individual units, fights. So, when you clash armies with a person, you want to control as many of your units as you can to get the maximum benefit. You want to keep weak ones alive, prevent them from dying, and stuff like that. Each race has their own specific type of micro that it's like an acquired taste, let's say. Microing Zerg units is slightly different than microing Protoss units. Microing specific combinations of units in certain situations is very different depending on the race. So, a player who's played Terran his whole life might have some problems with this, and I think that's what Toast is about to say here. So, it's very important because that is one of the things that you would think, despite FlaSh being incredible player, he just won't have the same amount of reps and experience at microing some of the units of his off races, right?
In Protoss vs. Protoss for 15 years should probably have better micro than FlaSh. I mean, I'm as much a believer in FlaSh's unbelievable god tier skill as anyone, but that seems a reasonable thing to say. So I think that Protoss vs. Protoss could be very difficult because of that. Zerg vs. Zerg, the same. It's hard for me to imagine FlaSh beating a championship caliber Zerg in Mutalisk Scourge versus Mutalisk Scourge. That's something that they practice all day, every day, for years and years and years and years. And to think that this Terran Gods micro with Mutalisks will be that good, it feels to me like in Zerg vs. Zerg and Protoss vs. Protoss specifically, he's going to have to get strategic victories. Victories where it doesn't come down to just pure control of Dragoon versus Dragoon. Reaver pushes, and those can have a lot of micromanagement involved in them as well. Thinking about the Zergling micro back and forth and pulling drones and slipping those around and, microing your mutas versus Scourge, those types of things. Those don't seem like easy situations for FlaSh to be able to beat these world-class players in. So I think that those are going to be a couple of very hard matchups where he's really looking to win a strategic battle where he gets the upper edge via his opponent not knowing his race right off the bat. This much. So yeah, those are kind of the theoretic weaknesses that come to mind here for FlaSh. It's going to be interesting this tonight, especially. FlaSh is playing random, especially because there's no concrete metagame. There's no concrete theory behind playing random at this level. People will play random on the ladder and play against each other, with random and have ideas about what they want to do. But I think FlaSh is going to have really thought this out, and that's going to be really fun to see. I think we're going to learn a lot about what he perceives to be the strongest way to play. For instance, if his first match is going to be against Free, it's going to be on Shakur's Temple, a 4-player map, a big 4-player map, and we're going to see what he thinks based on the race he gets is going to counter what he thinks his opponent will do. And then it's also going to be interesting to see what the other players that he plays against, what the other pros end up deciding to do. Do they play aggressively? Do they play defensively and try to absorb him, thinking that he's not going to be quite as good with 2 of the races? It's really hard to say, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the group he's going to be playing real quick. We see FlaSh, Free, Snow, Hero. Here's my honest take on this. I think FlaSh is going to beat Free. It's a best of 1 on a 4-player map. There's a lot of ways where he can get lucky. 1 would be getting Terran. 2, he gets scouted late, right? 3, I mean, he could just get Zerg, and Free has his tile in the wrong spot. So I look at this, and I think that he will be able to probably take out Free. Free is also one of the weakest players in the round of 16. Yeah, honestly, it's like the weakest players in the round of 16 were Free and Leda. So FlaSh got a good choice here, and it's the weakest Protoss player, which is the race I think most effective playing against random. Looking at these other 2 matchups, it gets very difficult because I feel like these are, Hero is a finalist of GSO. It's actually someone that FlaSh beat in ASL Season 3, I want to say, 3 or 4. So Hero is an excellent Zerg player. He's in very good shape right now. That's going to be tough. Obviously, when FlaSh randoms into Terran against him, it'll be all right. The other 2 matchups I think are going to be hard. Playing against Snow. Snow, in my mind, is the best Protoss in the world, and I think he's actually the favorite to win this tournament. Now, Protoss has a hard time, but Snow is one of the only Protosses that I can see even winning against FlaSh in Protoss vs. Terran, let alone the other matchups, right? I think Snow is awesome at all 3 matchups. So it's a hard group, but there's a lot of randomness involved, literally. I think FlaSh can make it out. And I think it's going to be absolutely insane if he does. So definitely make sure you check out either the ASL Live or on VOD. Those are my thoughts. So let me know what yours are down below. Thanks for watching.
All right, so that's a little background there about what we're about to watch. I'm super excited about this because I'm so curious to see if FlaSh can manage to play at a championship caliber level as random. There's been so few people that have ever played random at like an actual high level. And like Artosis said, I think there's only been 1 who's played like random in tournaments in the last 18 years. It's just not viable, quite frankly. Because you can't be strong with all 3, cannot be equally strong with all 3 races. It's just impossible. The amount of time you have to put into mastering your specific race and matchups is just crazy. To do that for 3 different races is almost impossible. FlaSh is the strongest StarCraft player of all time, obviously, so if anyone can do it, he can do it. I have my doubts. I think he'll get out of the group, but hard because what if he matches Zerg, right? A high level Zerg. He's lost few series that he's lost in tournaments when he's his own race, Terran, have been against Zerg. I don't think his ZVZ will be good enough to beat a top caliber Zerg, and PVZ might. PVZ definitely is, but PVZ is not invulnerable, as history has shown. Still God tier. Has lost in the past. So I'm thinking specifically in like a best of 3 situation where even if he got 2 Terran, say he gets a Zerg, draws Zerg, playing against a Zerg, and his random rolls Zerg, Terran, that's still a situation where I could see him going out 1-2. You know, like, Terran could be beat against Zerg. Personally, as a guy who plays Zerg, I want to see FlaSh play Zerg because I want to see what his approach and like what his mentality and what he perceives to be the strongest way to play the Zerg matchups is, because I'm just curious to see that as a Zerg player. But dude, this is so exciting, seriously. I really hope he gets Zerg here. So let's just get into the games and watch them.
For me, looking at this, I've really put a ton of thought into it. And so here's what I think. I think that he'll beat Free no matter what race he gets.
Okay, I think that's very possible.
Yeah, and if he plays Free twice, he'll beat him twice. And that would mean he would get through.
I think both Snow and Hero will be very hard to beat.
Yeah, they're very difficult. I think Hero is actually the hardest one to beat.
I agree.
Because I think PVZ and ZVZ are both, those are 2 of the tough matchups. I think for FlaSh overall, it's going to be Zerg vs Zerg, Protoss vs Zerg, and Protoss vs Protoss are going to be the 3 hardest matchups for him to play.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
So
he doesn't have any Terran players in the group, of course, today.
Yeah, there's only 1 Terran left in the whole tournament.
Yeah, if he gets paired against a Terran, I think FlaSh, just being the greatest Terran of all time, would know how to punish a Terran with the other races. But that's not the case. He's really going to be in matchups that are not his forte. And as amazing as FlaSh is, he does not have the decades of practice, like let's say with Dragoon Reaver Micro, with Mutaling Micro.
Yeah. I think that's the problem.
The way that PVZ, I think especially, can go is going to be tough against somebody like Hero. So this is going to be a very fascinating day because, again, it's FlaSh playing random, but it's in a group that I think is actually very hard for him to get out of.
Yeah, I think you're very right on what you said there. I think that the hardest thing for him to do here will be Micro in the mirror matchups. I think PVZ will actually be slightly easier than PvP and ZVZ. So like, because a lot of Protoss vs Protoss comes down to like Dragoon and Reaver Micro against Dragoon and Reaver Micro, and like you said, decades of experience on these guys.
Right.
So to beat them in that is going to be a little bit tough. And then of course Zerg vs Zerg, it's like there's just no way his Micro Vitalisk Scourge is going to equal what Heroes is. It's just impossible, right?
Each race and each matchup, there's an art form to how to control the units. Yeah. You know, like you can't get a top tier Protoss who just knows how to plant mines quickly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If they come from a Protoss background, there's all this stuff that Terran knows because they have to.
You give a Protoss player some Marine Medic against Mutas, they're going to get slaughtered. It's
they don't have that mechanical skill set. And this is important for people to hear because I think a lot of times people don't really realize how different the mechanical skill sets are for each of the races and each of the matchups as well.
And we talk about how macro's hard. Macro's not going to be his issue. They'll be able to macro the races perfectly.
Macro will not be an issue here. It'll be the nuance of
the micro.
Yeah, the nuance. In certain engages, certain situations, you have to know how to handle this correctly.
And there should be situations that are really complex that are hard for him. Like some very strange, there's things that come up in games. You know this because you play forever where like your brain will jump back to a game you played 10 years ago and be like, oh, I've seen this one time before.
Yeah, I think I know what this is. Oh, it is that.
Yeah, and I can't even think of one off the top of my head, but those things exist. So that's going to be interesting.
All these players.
Look at this one right, 75%. Let's see.
All these players.
So, just looking at these numbers, how incredible is that? 75% overall win rate. He's 81 and 27. 83% against Protoss, 76% against Terran, and 70 against Zerg. To put that in perspective, at the highest level, like 55%, 55 to 60% is like considered unbelievably good. He is 75% overall.
Players here have played against random on ladder. That should be noted here. I think sometimes people get caught up in the tournament meta. Most of these guys have been laddering throughout their careers. You encounter players who do go random. You do have to have some idea of how to handle that. I'm sure you've experienced as I have on a ladder now. Like when we're streaming, you face off against a random player, maybe a big map, you scout him last, a lot of stuff can go wrong.
Oh, yes.
So they're going to have something in mind here. I know people that only watch tournaments, this is going to be easy to forget. The question, though, is also how is FlaSh going to be picking his builds versus random? Because, I'm sorry, as random.
Well, I think that he's going to set the first real random meta that we're ever going to see 10x.
I will say, at the esports night that we casted, I want to say it was like 7 weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah.
FlaSh did make some questionable calls as a random player. He did roll Terran and then go command center first against a Zerg, and I think it's reasonable to say most Zergs feel forced to go dual first against random because they maybe could try to take it with a rush. He lost that game to Queen.
Yeah,
now, that just does not make sense from a random player's perspective. So FlaSh is still ironing out some of the creases in his play here, and I think we're going to see a much more refined set of decisions made here at the start to try to take advantage of this. Again, if FlaSh draws Terran, he's probably just going to win. Okay, you're at a disadvantage if you're in the first few minutes as far as what build you go. And by the way, the first few minutes of any build are the most important parts of the build.
Yes.
So he'll have an edge if he gets Terran, but that's a 1 out of 3 chance. And randomness doesn't mean he gets Terran a third of the time. It just means he might get it a third of the time each time the game starts.
Yeah, so over the course of Infinity, but ASL is very short.
Right, we could have just only Zerg games or something weird like that. There's a lot. We could only have Terran games. That would also be the least hype thing ever. But just be ready for anything. This is going to be so cool. So this is a best of one here.
Here we
Flash
go,
versus Free.
baby. Here
Free is
we
going to be the
go.
first player to face off against a random opponent. And
Let's
I believe
go.
it's,
What's he gonna get?
20
What's he
years
gonna
here.
get?
In a Starlink,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
right.
Starlink.
Please don't get
Terran. That was a long time ago. He switched to Terran. We're going to go to Shakura's Temple. It starts now. Flash versus Free with Flash playing random.
Here we go. I want to see Zerg. I want to see Zerg.
샤크로스 템플에서 게임을 시작합니다.
I want to see Zerg.
Wait for it.
Here we go.
Here we go! Here we go!
No way, you got Terran.
Cross spawn!
Cross spawn Terran.
Oh man, he got Terran. Okay. Well, he should win this easily.
Gee, all right, he's in the
All
winner
right,
match.
let's go to game 2. Flash
Dude,
wins.
craziness. Well, that's...
Look at Free. Free's like, maybe he's Protoss. That would... Yeah, maybe he's Protoss.
You know what thing... Here's the thing, right? I think that Flash is going to make it through tonight, even though it's really hard.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm afraid of. If he gets Terran too many times, you're not going to give him any credit.
No, I
and we're
won't.
not going to be friends anymore. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. You know, Tasis
Some
and Artosis
arbitrary amount of
stop
times.
talking. What happened? Well, you know,
Flash got Terran a
Flash
few
got
too many
Terran
times
a bunch.
for Taste
and
his taste.
Artosis said, wow, he won with random. And then they stopped talking.
Oh, man. Okay, pylon in main.
So let's talk a little bit about the Protoss perspective of going up against random. You know, first of all, Protoss, and this is going to be obvious, but stay with me. The pylon powers your buildings, right? So the pylon, the first pylon you play is very important. If you're against a Zerg, you want to, generally speaking, fast expand. If you're against a Protoss or a Terran, you generally don't want to have a pylon at your first pylon at the natural. So Protoss have a unique problem playing against random because they can end up with a very inconvenient build. Now, in this case, it's looking like it's probably going to be fine because he made the gateway in the main. Had, let's say, Free made a pylon, and I don't think we'll see any Protoss players do this against random. I'll be very surprised if they do. I think it's a bad build. I don't think any Protoss players will make a pylon at the natural.
You don't think any?
No.
But wouldn't that be a good way to hedge if you're Snow? He said he wants to play against the Protoss, so if you build it at the natural, it's good against Terran and Zerg.
Yeah, but you'll lose a PvP. It's very easy to lose a PvP there.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and I know that that's why it's like very risky. But it would give him a much better shot against Zerg, at least.
But I suppose there's a point that there are good Protoss builds where you don't fast expand.
Yeah.
Either 2-gate or into gas, but like against someone like Hero, I don't know. Maybe against Flash you could.
I want to look at everyone. Look at Free's
All right,
face.
get ready.
Free is on the right here. Look at his
Yeah,
face.
let's
as he
watch his
sees
face.
Terran. There it is.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, he knows
He's like,
he's
well,
fucked now.
He's got him second.
Yeah.
He's his race. He's the greatest in the whole world at this. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Well, thanks for being part of this great experiment, Free.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this is brutal. But I will say this. Free can play in a completely standard PvT.
Hey. Oh, just got it. Okay, that was great observing from our observer to check Flash's residual vision, because the way that you scout with Terran, you want to be able to see that Zealot coming. So, I guess his eyes didn't catch it.
Yeah.
His eyes didn't catch it.
It was on the mini-map, the color was, but his eyes did not actually notice it. So, by the way, Free is not at a build order disadvantage doing this.
Yeah, he's totally fine.
He's actually going to be going into a normal PvT here.
Yeah. And he's putting some pressure on that bunker. I mean, I think he might have to cancel it.
He actually kills a scouting SCV too.
Oh, that's nice.
Now, some Protoss players might cheese here. I don't know what Free is going to do. It looks like Free instead is just going to take a quick Nexus. That's before gas, right? Maybe not. No, I'm sorry, not before gas. I meant before range.
Yeah, that was before
What am I
range.
talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got
Jesus.
300 gas
I'm
almost.
going to have to take you down easy here, man.
But yeah, you're quite right. It's before that. Now let's see if he actually throws up a tech building before his range. That's kind of interesting. Flash, I mean, it looks like he's just going to expand. Yep, going to send that SCV down. Still no range. Still no range. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Like, okay, still no range.
So what's he want to do? Is he going to go for a quick drop? All right.
Robo.
Probably into Reaver.
Yeah, very quick Reaver here. Some Protosses do like to do that. What do you think about when you see a bunker expansion to just go into Reaver right away?
I think it's good.
You
I
like
think
it?
cross spawns like this.
Yeah,
I think
actually,
that-
yeah, cross spawn, I can see that.
Yeah, cross spawns, I think it's actually fine because even though you can die to a rush, like if they do just do 2 factories after this in a time,
yeah.
you can die. People tend to not do that.
Yeah, anyone
You
that
know what I'm saying?
2fax cross map is a sociopath.
Oh, I mean 2 factory after the command center's done.
Ah,
is
that
what I'm
one.
saying. Is,
Yeah,
is they
yeah.
do that anyways.
Sure.
You can absolutely die to that, but
Uh-oh, he's proxying a starport. Vulture drops incoming for sure.
I think Free is hedging his bets here, really.
Sure. Well, going for that quick robo, getting a second gateway. There is a proxy starport here from FlaSh, so it's probably going to be a vulture drop coming out of him very quickly. He's sending some vultures across the map. Does he have mines? Yep, the mines just finished. So this is actually like a great situation for FlaSh. The fact that Free chose to do a build like this, it's like you think, oh, fast observer, that's going to be great. But actually, FlaSh is laying the mines so he knows all the units are in there, and like the goons are going to move out and start clearing mines, and he's going to drop vultures in the base.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool setup. And I thought it was going to be quick Reaver, actually, but no,
Yeah,
he's going to have
it
just a
looked
super
like it for
fast
me.
observer. It's actually fine, though, to just get a really quick scout and see what they're doing.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Nothing
And
wrong.
you're playing very much like a Zerg player in a style like this, where you're trying to just see what they're doing and then react properly. But yeah, the setup here is pretty smart by FlaSh. A ring of mines lightly placed around. And of course, when you get a quick observer, the first thing you want to do is start to clear mines out on the map, right? And open up the map to you so you can start to dominate. And so,
Okay, this was kind of an interesting moment. A vulture just showed itself when FlaSh clicked back. I think it may have been a pathing error by him, but the vulture ran by the wall, and then
I was gonna say, I just saw him pull his goons back to his base. He knows the drop is coming. How? Might have been his vulture went too close to the wall at the natural.
drop can occur. It's not that common a build, but it will kill you if you're not in position.
yeah, you need to be ready for this.
Yeah, and he's super ready.
Free
He's
is playing
really ready.
very
Oh,
well.
look at
Yeah,
that.
it's a very
That's
nice
great.
This is also setting up to be a 2-base Arbiter tech, I believe.
Yeah, you're
It's
very
not going
right
to
about
take
that.
hardly
here we
any
go.
damage
He's
from
gonna
this
see
at all.
this.
All right, well, he's targeting down the vultures.
You know,
Yeah, I
this
guess he'll
actually
prevent
was-
a lot of kills. It looks like 3 or 4 probes.
Yeah, Free is actually playing the PvT of his life right now.
Well, it ended up getting 4 or 5 probes there, right? I couldn't quite tell if it was 4 or it was 5.
I think it
the
was
drop
4.
ship got out. He has mines everywhere, and he saw the timing of the Citadel, which does scream 2-base Arbiter, like you mentioned.
Now,
So I think that FlaSh, that was okay for FlaSh, even though it wasn't like a spectacular drop.
okay, so I'm curious here. Is it not better to try to shoot the dropship down and then the vultures, or is it just better to kill?
I thought it was better to get the dropship.
Yeah, watching
But-
that, I was curious about that little engagement. And
Yeah.
maybe you lose too many probes, and he thinks, okay, I've got a good position here.
Yeah, maybe that is it. But now, I mean, there's still a dropship out because you'll never remake the dropship if you lose it that early.
Right.
I mean, there could be a dropship later on, but you will never remake it. But now he kind of has this tool still at his
He's going
disposal.
to come in again here.
Yeah, the SimCity is getting better for free, so I don't think he's going to lose anything here. Or very little, at least. Good block in there by
Really
free.
great blocking.
Yeah, and you can see his building placement is making it really hard for the vultures to get kills.
This is why it's so important to
3,
have a good
4.
SimCity here.
5 kills. I mean,
Well,
you're
it's-
trading those 4 vultures for 5 kills on, against 2-base pros. I think it's all right. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it's all right.
FlaSh is now setting up 5 factories. So he's going to have quite a strong push. There's no additional command center, right?
Nope.
Okay, just checking. We've mostly been inside.
Alright, so looks like Free's going for a quick Arbiter on 2-base. Well, he just expanded too. But he doesn't have a lot of units. I don't know, I'm seeing FlaSh is going up to 5 factories. Look at the amount of resources he's floating as well. He's going to be dumping a bunch of money into some tanks, and I think he might end up pushing him.
freeze base here.
Well, I don't think so, but actually the placement of one of those squares at the bottom, I think that is a factory maybe, or a command center.
Yeah, it looks, it's lifting off
Yeah,
now.
you would never put a factory there, and he already has a starport. So yeah, I think that actually is a third. Never mind.
This is what I was trying to figure out. Is I thought, is it a 5-factory timing push?
Yeah,
or
that
is
would
there
be
something else going on.
That would be a bit weird. Like, I don't think you can actually, like we saw Light trying to do it in his group, right?
Yeah.
It's just two-base timings don't really work against two-base Arbiter.
Well, that's what you'd actually want. Okay, it is a quick CC.
Yeah,
we never caught that on camera, but yeah, right. Because if you're going 2-base and into an Arbiter and they do a 2-base timing push, you're going to have the Arbiter basically as they come.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a fight. You might have a stasis, but they're going to be spending scans. You can stall them out. You can drag the game out. We already had some games like this earlier on in this ASL.
Actually, very important that he got that third base up because the build that Free is doing is allowing him to get a free expansion without having to be able to contest it or defend it heavily on the map. Getting that for free, not only does he get the base, but he also gets an additional scanner because I don't think he's going Science Vessel yet. But when the Arbiter comes out, he's going to need all the scans he can get. Now he has an extra Comstat station.
Well, actually, in our previous group, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so FlaSh, I mean, he's just kind of running around with vultures, keeping some mines down, picking off what he can. He has his third base up with really good timing here. Of course, Free has one as well. And he knows what the tech is, which is really important. You can see that his supply is really good right now, FlaSh's, right? He's only 10 supply behind.
Now
so his army is pretty darn good, and his economy is pretty darn good.
Is FlaSh actually committing with a push here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're supposed to do this push because 2-base Arbiter is very low on units.
Oh,
Like,
that was
early
huge,
on,
losing
the
those
gateway
two goons
explosion
to
comes
that mine.
after saturation in the Arbiter. So, like, I mean, look, this is doing pretty well, right?
Zealot speed is not done yet, but we actually have Free coming
There's no
out
way.
here.
There's
Again,
no
these,
way Free
vultures
can clear
have to get
this.
in front of the tanks here.
No way.
And I think this push
He's
may
just gonna
be
lose.
too much.
He's gonna lose.
I
What the
think
fuck?
that this is actually turning out to be a very straightforward TVP here.
Well, he's going to kill this base, and he really didn't lose tanks there. He has his 3 bases with 3 gases going. This looks really good for him right now.
Dude, FlaSh is so fucking good. The placement of those tanks when he was making that push literally destroyed Free's, like, what did he lose? 1 tank and like 3 vultures? And he cleared Free's, half of Free's army? That's crazy. Gonna kill this base. He's just gonna march up to the natural now too. That's crazy. So good.
Very good job unsieging those tanks as the Zealot bomb was coming down here. You don't want to draw the siege tank splash into your own units. And I think this is a push where Terran's not going to turn around. I think Terran's going to keep applying pressure over here. You know, artillery down these pylons and eventually get in front of the natural. And from there you have a pretty good contain on the Protoss and 1 or 2 tanks and, you know, 2 or 3 vultures can then push these other bases that are also available.
Yeah, look at this. Just getting right into that natural. He's going to force a terrible engagement here out of Free. Look at that. Walking forward.
Free has no zealots either, does he?
Spread well. Here comes that first Arbiter, but it is really late compared to the push speed.
I would imagine there are so many scans banked up here to where this natural expansion can never be saved. And this is pretty much what the beginning of the end looks like from a Protoss perspective here.
You know, what a...
Yeah, his he didn't have any zealots there, and they didn't have legs either. Just the sheer amount of vultures and mines he laid, there's no way he was getting out of that.
What a funny game, I tell you. This shows like how strong FlaSh is compared to everyone.
Look at that random player.
He's awesome. But yeah, that was, I mean, that was still very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the game, man. Playing against FlaSh is random. There's a 1 in 3 chance he's going to be Terran. And I don't know how you're going to beat that. Hard enough to beat his Terran as it is, but when he's Terran and you don't even know he's Terran because he went random, that's, I don't know, man, that's hard. Luck.
All of his prep and practice paid off, you know?
Sure did.
Well, Free, You're just part of the experiment, my friend.
So none too happy with that
Yeah.
result.
Okay, so we're going to have a PvZ up next here. This is going to be pretty crazy, too. These guys are both so strong at their matchup. Snow and Hero, I actually don't know who takes that, but I'm very curious to see what they're both going to do.
Yeah.
So FlaSh is in the winner's match. The winner's match is a best of 3.
I'm excited. It's just I want to see more flashes random.
Yeah. I hope he gets Terran 3 more times and he moves on. I hope he only gets Terran and he wins and we go, well, I mean, do we give you a special trophy? Do we? Do we?
Yeah, you do.
Guys, short break. We come back with PvZ. Don't go away. More ASL, more of FlaSh's random. Artosis and I have emptied our bladders and our minds.
Oh, but my mind is filling up again so quickly.
Yeah, my bladder not as fast as my mind as far as filling up goes. We have a best of 3 now. We're done with the best of 1 portion of the group section. So here's a couple things I want to point out. Snow in the past actually beat FlaSh in ASL. He's one of the only players that ever did that.
That is correct, yes.
In other words, Snow actually can beat FlaSh's Terran.
Yeah. FlaSh has lost 4 best of 5s ever in ASL.
Yes.
And Snow was one of them.
Yes.
Now, to be fair, 3 of those best of 5s don't really count for people who really know the inside story. But yeah, no, seriously. Snow is the best PvT there is.
Yes.
He's so godly at the matchup.
Yeah, he's so good. It's going to be on Eclipse for map 1. This is a one-on-one map. You don't have the scouting dilemma of 4 spawn locations. Optimizing for map 2. Ring and Blue for map 3. Snow versus FlaSh. It's going to be a PvP, a PvT, or a PvZ. We already see that Snow's PvZ is looking terrifying.
Yeah.
FlaSh will most likely not, I mean, we'll see, but most likely not have some kind of super build order edge here.
Oh yeah,
unless he
you're
spawns
going to
Zerg.
find him very quickly.
Yeah, unless he spawns Zerg.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Snow will opt for a proxy. I don't think that will happen.
That would be weird.
That would be weird. I'm just keeping ideas open here.
I don't think you beat anything with proxy here, so.
But Artosis, he did get armor before +2 attack, so anything's possible.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys, it starts now.
게임 준비 완료.
Again, the winner goes on to the round of 8. FlaSh is random for Snow's Protoss. Call it. Which one's going to be? It's going to be
이클립스에서 게임을
No, it's race.
시작합니다.
Go, call it.
Oh, he's going to get Terran.
Okay, I say Zerg.
Okay, so the part we skipped over was I just want to focus on the FlaSh games. I guess the part we skipped over was Snow beating 0 in the second best of 1. So now these series are best of 3. So this is FlaSh versus Snow best of 3. Game 1 Eclipse. Alright, let's see. Random, here we come. Like I said, I want to see him play Zerg, man. I want to see how FlaSh plays Zerg.
Okay.
Snow is one of the only people that can beat his Terran, too, so this should be interesting.
He's Protoss!
Protoss.
That's what Snow wanted. Snow is so lucky.
Wait, is he Terran? Hold on.
No, he's Protoss.
Hold on.
It's PvP.
Oh, okay.
So FlaSh is in the top right as green Protoss. Snow's in the bottom left as blue Protoss. So this is what Snow wanted, was to play PvP against him. It's a 2-player map, so he'll find him right away.
Most likely, Snow will make the pylon in the main,
Yeah.
so he will not be offset as far as builds go. But, you know, one of the things... Okay, so let's talk about PvP for a second here. PvP, it can look simple on the surface. You know, they're getting Dragoons early, they go into range, and then it can be DTs, or it can be an expand, or it can be Robotech. There's so many little mind games going on. It's hard to get full reads on anything. There's a lot of bluffing, a lot of calculated bets going on. And again, you know, we were talking about this at the start of the show. As good as FlaSh is and as strong as he is, for players that have been playing for over 2 decades, I can't imagine FlaSh's Dragoon control or Shuttle Reaver control would be on par with somebody like Snow. That's going to put him in a bad spot to begin with.
Okay, Snow's going to find him soon. Hopefully we get the camera on his face. Come on.
Keep in mind that FlaSh actually is opting not to scout since he knows his opponent has to scout.
Oh, I can't believe we're not going to have the camera on his face.
All right, there it is.
Yeah, but it's like after he saw it, so... Oh, well.
But the thing is, you know, he knows in this moment, all right, this is a PvP. Does he go for a man or pylon? Looks like Snow is itching to try and pull this off. I don't know if it's going to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, Terran players are used to blocking this anyways, so...
Later gas is on both sides here.
Okay, so this is something that I was really thinking about a lot, like PvP, how do you approach this as FlaSh? And it feels like you got to go for a strategic victory, but how do you do that on a 2-player map like this?
Well, I think the idea for FlaSh, if I had to guess, is that he wants to just survive into late game.
You think he wants to get it to pure mechanics,
Yes.
like just macro, running around, that type of thing? Okay,
Right.
that makes fair enough sense. So are you thinking like Robo near the ramp expand, that type of build to be safe?
Now that's the big question, right? Robo near the ramp builds
Oh, we got a
are
Zealot.
popular. They're definitely, for those of you that are trying to learn and trying to ladder, Robo near the ramp into, Obs and Reaver. You try to get a read on what they're doing, but you're basically trying to cover yourself so you don't die to a Goon Rush.
Kind of
or
solves everything, right?
DTs. Yeah, it kind of. But there are sharp builds that can punish that. We saw that especially in the KSL finals with Rain.
Yeah.
Where he just knew exactly how to kill each of these builds.
That's actually a very good point, because not only is FlaSh like basically as smart as you can get at Brood War, one of his best friends is Rain. So Rain is the greatest PvP player ever. So it's Rain. Rain smashes everyone PvP. So maybe he got some tips about like how to choose counter builds and stuff here.
It's possible.
A double Zealot opening from FlaSh.
That usually telegraphs a fast expand build.
Okay.
You have enough gas. You have something with the 2 Zealots that.
Interesting, 2 Zealots. So yeah, what Tasteless was saying, that seems like it's an expand, but sending. What's he doing with his probe? Is he gonna hide an expansion?
You can just slowly get a Reaver, get the rest of the stuff gas-wise that you need. What's going on, Artosis?
How is this safe, though? How is this safe? What if Snow goes quick DT or quick Reaver? Snow has not expanded yet.
Skipped Zealot. He actually went directly.
And he skipped Zealot.
I like it.
Well,
2 Zealot versus no Zealot.
What Snow's going to do is.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
No way, dude. He's hiding a fucking base. This could go extremely bad, or this could win him the game.
Oh my god.
This
okay,
happens,
well, it's
this
a strategic victory he's going for.
This is common in PvP. Not doing it this fast, but a hidden base in PvP is very common.
Is it?
Usually on the 3rd base, not on the 2nd.
Okay.
So,
well, if you make 2 Zealots, it looks like you're banking gas, and then you don't make your Nexus. Are you just trying to fake that you're cheesing so they do something like Observer heavy and you can go
I think so.
Gate heavy?
I believe so.
Okay, because that kind of makes sense.
Just saw the probe come from up. Is he gonna find this, dude? No. I think FlaSh screwed up by sending that probe straight down.
By the way, what Snow is doing here is a very common build if you detect that they're not going to do anything aggressive to you. You kept 1 probe
FlaSh has no vision either. He doesn't know what Snow is doing at all this whole game.
And then you, I believe the correct thing is to then get a Robo. I think we'll see that in a second.
Okay.
And the idea is you're just not, if they're not going to Goon all in you, and they're not going to DT rush you, you should have just skipped a lot of steps to get ahead. You've cut probes in the process, so it feels a little bit odd, but because you send half your probes to the expansion, you just start to mine a lot more quickly.
Well, now I don't know if he'll send any probes here. I think he's just going to produce. But Snow just saw that he doesn't have an expand, right? So,
dude, Snow has to know he has a hidden base, right?
From here, are you like, oh god?
There's no natural expansion. Saw the probe come from the top of the map. How does he not know? He has to know, right?
It's DT? Like, what are you?
Well,
it's a Reaver push. Oh god!
I got a lot to say here. First of all, from Snow's perspective, he wants to survive the up and coming blow. Something's going to happen. They're either going to attack you or they're going to expand. There is no just sit on your base and do nothing strat, right?
Yeah.
So I think in Snow's mind, he's trying to brace for impact of something that may come. That nothing is going to come, though. But FlaSh will end up getting an expansion up here. Now, I don't know the math on this exactly, okay? I'm really not sure. But basically the idea is FlaSh expands slowly. Snow is fairly confused. And behind this, FlaSh has made probes 1 by 1 at this fresh base. And hidden bases are a funny thing in StarCraft because if you don't have a good read on how many bases they have, you have a completely incorrect read on it the entire game you're playing.
Yes, it's such an important thing.
This is going to be
people don't understand is when you get really good at StarCraft, you're actually measuring everything in your brain, and you basically know where your opponent's at. And then as soon as you see a new base, you're like, oh, all my calculations are off.
Ideally, you either already know through instinct and experience they've expanded, or you're scouting and confirming it. And so, especially in PvP in these positions, if they do a hidden base, they're not going to be responding to it correctly. Certainly, Snow might be ready to shoot down some kind of a push or some kind of an attack. Basically, FlaSh is going to turtle into a macro game, and Snow, essentially following the wrong algorithm, build-wise, will end up in a with an insufficient balance of workers and units and bases.
Yeah, it feels to me right now, Tasteless, like FlaSh is starting to get ahead, like really ahead.
Yeah,
his
right
third
about
Nexus
now
is done.
Right,
he's got Reaver tech right now. The first observer from Snow is out, but he has no idea. He has no extra base or anything. So it feels like FlaSh is going to start shooting ahead momentarily.
And what's funny about this? Notice how he's making a Robo Bay. That's a defensive Robo Bay.
Oh God.
So
he needs not to defend Tasteless, but to attack.
Here's what's funny about this is that because I've seen Snow do this build a couple times before. The idea is that Snow is so good at getting a read on his opponent that he knows when he can do the quick Nexus grab, and it's a very strong build. A lot of times, if you have to get the quick Nexus up and you macro up, you're going to win the game, right? What Snow did, I mean, not even what FlaSh did. What FlaSh did is actually an even greedier, trickier version of what Snow did. So, Snow never got the. It's interesting he puts a Citadel there too. I wonder if there's almost like if a scouting observer comes in there, you see that and you go, oh, he's going to do a Goon Reaver push. He's still powering.
Ah, yeah.
When
maybe he's going for speed? Is he going for Storm?
Well, you do both eventually, no matter what, right? But if you don't see the Citadel, you assume an attack is inbound because they've locked their tech.
Yeah.
You know? Excuse me. So
FlaSh is now sitting halfway on the map.
Yeah.
His first Reaver has popped out. He's got a ton of gateways.
I don't think he wants to attack just yet.
No?
I
think you're right. I think you need a few more rounds.
Well, no, not even that. I think you probably want to just wait for them to try to take their third, and then you go kill them.
Ah, okay.
Because you actually,
that makes sense.
Right now, Snow thinks he's ahead.
Dude, he hit a Citadel at the hidden base. He's gonna get legs right here, isn't he? He's gonna have Zealot legs so much faster than Snow that he can probably just push his army back. If he pushes his army back, Snow's not gonna be able to get a third. Be trapped in his base. Like, FlaSh is playing this so intelligently. The fact that Snow hasn't figured out that this is a hidden base. FlaSh is like knowing that Snow doesn't know. FlaSh is playing this super correctly. This is incredible.
In this game.
Snow is still a better Protoss player though, so you'll see. But he's behind right now, big time.
Just to be clear here, Snow is under the impression he's taken a lead. In fact, FlaSh has hidden the base, taken his own lead. And this is one of the most straightforward ways to lose a game in a hidden base game.
Yeah.
By the way, a little throwback here. For those of you guys who used to play on WG Tour, some of you guys might remember XDS Kiwi. This guy went random on the ladder. He got rank 1 for a while. He did a hidden base every game. He was like the master of hiding a base every game.
It's a strat.
And it works. It's a very good strategy. If people know you're going to do it, you'll probably just lose. But games that get this chaotic, it's hard.
Dude, he's going mass speed law.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Well, let's see if he gets a Templar Archives too. He might have a...
Okay, Snow is starting to move up. FlaSh does have a spotter unit over there. We see a little green blip on the minimap.
So Snow might be trying to come in here to punish what he thinks is going to be the third base, which will be taken at 1 o'clock.
Oh, Snow has half of his army right there. FlaSh going to back up. He does have double Reaver.
Snow's closing in very well here. Keep in mind, again, Snow is going to have better control in a Reaver shuttle dogfight.
Well, there's a 20 supply advantage here for FlaSh. Let's see if it makes the difference. And he has speed for his Zealots now. He has a bunch at his rally that he's not moving, though.
Very good pull away there, by the way, from FlaSh. Or from Snow, excuse me.
Oh, he's pushing Snow back right now pretty hard.
And so right now, Snow is probably a little bit confused as to what's going on.
It's like, how does he have this many units?
He has a lot. And right now,
Exactly, dude. Like, he's just going to push him back because he's not expecting him to have this many units. FlaSh's economy up 14 supply right now.
See, the supply lead here is pretty substantial. Good pickup there. Again, Snow is not going to be taking damage on his Reavers if he controls this well enough. But right now, the
Snow's Reavers are the best in the game by far.
At him is got to be a little bit confusing, right?
Yeah, I think he's probably starting to realize what has
gets
gone
stuck
on
in his
here.
base.
Like,
This is not good, man.
From such a late base, it could only be a hidden base, right? But does he actually have enough to hold on here?
He might. Hold on. We need to see if, again, the Reaver control is better here for Snow.
Yeah.
When you kill the shuttle, you can do some fancy footwork here, but this, oh man, this
Oh
might
my
be
god,
too much
this
here.
is too much, dude.
Oh my god. Oh, a huge set of Scarabs right there hitting. Snow's Reavers definitely worth a ton. Oh my god, his Reavers are magnificent, but it doesn't matter because FlaSh has so much.
My god,
Yeah,
dude,
so now
Snow's
the problem
Reavers,
is
what
that I
the
think
fuck? They're so
From here,
good.
Snow has been flattened.
Yeah.
I don't think that he can ever
Now
get out
FlaSh
on
is
the
just
map.
gonna
He might
rally
survive
units
this
into his
attack,
base.
but the math has really kicked in right now for FlaSh.
It's 40
And again,
supply
this
up.
was a
There's no way he
strategic
wins
win.
this.
Not a tactical win whatsoever.
Oh my god, he just
basically
beat
tricked
Snow in
with a
PvP.
really good build. He's really showing a part of Protoss versus Protoss we don't normally get to cast.
Now, he just beat Snow in PvP. Now, it was a strategic win, like, it was kind of like an economic cheese, a hidden base. But it's not good, man. If you're Snow, you probably shouldn't lose PvP to FlaSh. Probably shouldn't. I mean, FlaSh can hold his own for sure, but down 1-0 and 0-1 now in the series.
But it is a thing, is hidden bases. You know, Protoss are usually starved for information.
What if FlaSh
Especially
FlaSh
PvP,
gets
because they're trying
Terran
to make
his
shuttles,
next
Reavers,
game?
and
Like,
observers.
Yeah.
And the observer is usually the scouting unit. So
Snow just drops to the decider match. FlaSh gets Terran probably. This is not good.
hidden bases are very effective, and I love this. Now he can go into 2 gases there. You know how many Archons he can get, Artosis? A ridiculous amount. Yeah,
Very many.
A ridiculous amount of Archons. And now this is going to be a demoralizing loss here. I don't know if we're going to let Snow watch the replay. GG, but I will.
Dude, that speed, that hidden speed was so key, man. That enabled his army to literally just push Snow's army back to his base, and he could just contain him there. What a smart play to get the quick speed off a hidden base.
Tell you something.
He knows. He knows there was a hidden base there.
All right.
There's no way FlaSh could have had that many units. It doesn't matter how good your macro is. It would never have hurt. But yeah, that has to hurt his Snow. He got the matchup he wanted, and it was on a 2-player map, and FlaSh just had something ready that Snow did not anticipate, did not scout, and he lost because of it. Because we saw during that battle, like, I'm not surprised that FlaSh went speed lock because Snow's Reaver micro was out of control. Those Reavers killed like 20 Dragoons.
So his Reaver control was better. It's just that eventually he chased him all the way back to the natural.
Yeah.
And from there,
So
like,
left to right.
you can't run anymore, you lose your base. So a lot to unpack here. FlaSh, he did it. He got a strategic win on Snow. He circumvented the fact. By the way, Snow did a very good build. If he had scouted that base, he probably wins.
Yeah,
He goes up there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He sends a big edge for a long time,
He
actually.
sends one Dragoon, kills the Nexus, gets control. The problem is Snow thought he was ahead. He was actually behind. And so because FlaSh got 3 bases up very quickly, you know, what are you going to do?
No, totally. So again, you know, that kind of went like we were talking about, where FlaSh is getting out microed, but he has set something up strategically where he can win.
Right.
FlaSh is a genius. He's just completely brilliant. So we've seen that. Snow will not lose to a hidden Nexus again. That won't occur.
No, you're completely right. It cannot occur. It will not occur.
Builds like that, it's like, in fact, I don't think any Protoss in the rest of the tournament will lose to FlaSh PvP from a hidden base.
No, yes.
Yeah. That was a one-time use.
That's a one-time thing. You don't normally see it, but I think, again, FlaSh showed the 2 Zealots. This is a very standard build. The 2 Zealots at the start is the most standard version of the Robo the Ram expand build.
Yeah. Well, kind of looked like that, right? And so here we are. We're going into map number 2. This is a 4-player map. It's Optimizer. It's a map that has 2 gases in the main base.
I don't know what to expect.
I have no idea.
Let's just get into the game. Let's see what happens. Right now, FlaSh is ran up 1-0 against Snow's Protoss. The winner goes on to round of 8.
시즌 10 게임 준비 완료. 옵티마이저에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Here we go. 1-0 against Snow. Is he gonna... Bro, I hope he rolls Zerg, please. He's had Terran and Protoss so far. Let's have a Zerg. I really want to see Zerg. Zerg versus Snow would be really interesting, too. Come on, Zerg. Oh my god, he's Protoss again.
Wow.
Oh, this will be interesting.
PvP again. Okay.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, this
that's
is such a good
crazy.
story.
Okay, they're cross spawn, so it'll take a little bit to find it. One thing to mention, there's no ramp here.
Right.
So
Goon pressure very strong.
yeah, but it is cross spawn, so that takes actually a little bit of the power away from Goon pressure. But definitely still stronger than any map with a ramp.
Right, yeah. PvP on maps where you don't get a high ground or a very small ramp, really, it's a totally different matchup.
Yeah.
It requires a completely, it's almost like a different game entirely.
It definitely makes 3-gate Goon an option, right?
3-gate or 4-gate.
Now, I just wonder how the 2 gases in the main could change that up. Because if someone goes 3-gate and just contains you, you have 2 gases, and you have a lot more options with that, right?
That's a very good point. I hadn't really thought of that. I basically, out of all the maps we've had in matchups, I hadn't put much thought into PvP here, but you make a very good point because you can power up quite a bit.
And don't forget, if you go Robo and your opponent's on 3-gate Goon, you can take the island base. It's not like they're going to send probes over there to mine that out to try to go attack it. So
this makes me wonder here, because usually...
feels like 3-gate Goon might not be it.
Well, I guess one thing to point out is that you can keep making Dragoons, Shuttles, and Reavers and Observers. If you have a second gas, you're a little bit tight on money, but I don't know if we're going to get to that, but just in case somebody gets stuck on one base, I think the economics could be pretty funny.
Okay, Snow right now looks like he is going for a Nexus first.
So this is one of the... you can do this in all matchups. Let me just put this out of the way right now for those of you...
With the pylon in the main?
Yeah.
You can go Nexus first against Zerg with the pylon in the main?
Yeah, and you go 2 gates. Gate
really?
Gate on 4, yeah. Now, I don't know how great it is, but you can do it.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I don't believe Overpool is particularly good against it either. And you get some counter pressure.
I had no idea, actually. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, you can do it.
The only Nexus first that I've really seen is either like you scout him early or Reigns 11-11.
Okay, yeah.
Against Zerg, I'm talking. Now, what about this versus Protoss?
Now that's where it gets funny. I think, and I don't know for sure, I've actually seen people do this to me on ladder, but I sort of, every time you scout him, you go, what? A Nexus?
Yeah.
You're caught off guard. I don't know. Actually, okay, let me go back. I have so much to say right now. I'm so sorry. My mind's going a million miles a second here. First of all, FlaSh is scouting very late because he knows he's going to get scouted.
Yeah.
He might discount this build as a possibility.
Okay, Snow's about to see it right there. He sees it.
He goes back.
No reaction.
But again, FlaSh is not scouting.
Yeah.
If you don't know they're going quick Nexus, you're probably imagining a game where there's Dragoon range being upgraded right now.
Yeah. Right.
And so I think Snow might have done one of the best mind games as far as builds go.
I think you're
Couple things, right? I know we're in a PvP, but let's talk about the other matchups real quick here. PvT, this is great against Terran.
Yes.
Right? Quick Nexus is always good. PvZ, I think Snow would know how to play even against FlaSh's Zerg with this build. Okay. And I also imagine this is not a build that FlaSh is practicing against.
No.
This is this is in the, what was it like in Game of Thrones in that big library, and there was that part, the bookshelf that Samuel Tully couldn't get to, right? He needed the key or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's where this build order is.
Okay.
This is a very rare, weird build.
Mm-hmm.
Now, PvP, if you don't scout this, Snow takes the lead.
Yeah.
And FlaSh, who's kind of famous for not scouting, and in this case it makes sense he's not scouting because he knows his opponent has to scout him because he's random. He is actually in a terrible position right now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know it.
He has no idea yet.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to watch his face when he gets up there and sees 2 photon cannons.
And what's funny about this as well is that even when he gets there, he's not going to know the order in which this was made. He might think it was DT into Nexus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of people that DT rush will just make a cannon at the entrance and then try to expand with it.
Yeah, maybe he gets zoned so far out he actually just doesn't have any
look,
idea.
he's even got the Zealots here. He's just
he doesn't even see the cannons yet.
Yeah.
Like when you see the cannon, you definitely know a Nexus.
So look, he's just buying time. Nah. Now, if I am looking at FlaSh's position correctly, I would imagine he has to push. I don't think you try to play catch up against a player who's already in a spot this good, right?
You can't.
Now again,
But how do you do it? Look, he's going up to 4 gates.
How do you die?
How do you
Die.
Is Snow cheating? Look, he's going up to. How do you?
I want to hear him say that again. That was funny.
In a spot this good, right?
You can't.
Now again,
But how do you do it? Look, he's going up to 4 gates.
how do you die?
How do you
Die.
Is Snow cheating?
I don't know. I mean, I think this is why you have to scout. Now, hold on. He might be able to come in here and do some damage. There's more goons being made here.
Oh, he snipes one of the cannons
Hold
right
on.
away.
Hold on.
He gets both the cannons. Oh, is he just gonna like?
Isn't he misplaying this? I mean, it's good to get the cannons down, but he only has 4 goons here. He's not gonna break it, is he?
Micro like mad now?
Well, there should have been a third cannon. Now, there's one making... Oh, that's actually the third cannon there. Excuse me.
It's like a Hydra bust with goons.
Yeah, well, no, this is what happens like with some of these builds like this. The problem is that this is not like...
Oh! It's got like 1 health. It's 1 shot from death.
Now, again, he kills that cannon. This is all going to come down to control here. Again, right now, FlaSh. Had there been a third cannon, I think Snow is okay. Even losing probes right now is acceptable.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, FlaSh has Dragoon range, Snow does not. Let's see if he can actually tip this in his favor. There's 1 cannon.
Yeah, and he's got 2 goons, so that will definitely hold. He's got to back up from there, but he killed a bunch of units, forced more cannons. He's
Okay,
going
here comes the
Reaver.
push. Here comes the push.
And he's going up to 4 gates. I like
Yeah,
it.
he might have the
Yeah, he
push
gets
timing
smart
now.
from
This
here.
is exactly what he had to do. Now, imagine a game where the third cannon was finished. I think Snow has a much better shot.
Yeah. He'll have so many units right now.
He does need to capitalize on this, because Snow is on 2 base. You gotta do it sooner than later.
So right now it's 4 gate to 4 gate.
Well, he doesn't have his 4 gates done, but the Reaver is coming up. A couple more goons on the way. Does he have a goon in that shuttle, I wonder?
No.
No, he doesn't have one.
That doesn't help you. The Dragoon's actually faster outside the shuttle. So, I think FlaSh actually might barely take this. Now, Dragoon range is
I
done.
don't know, man. Like, that's a lot of goons, right? If he can just snipe the Reaver?
Okay, that was a good move to try to get the shuttle, because you need to kill
Good
the
Scarab. Good Scarab again.
Tries to get up there. Actually picks a goon.
Okay, he's gonna build another pylon behind this. This is a nail biter here. He wants to get that shuttle. FlaSh is actually trying to
He's
beat
gonna
him.
snipe the Reaver, maybe.
Oh my God!
Oh, he's getting so
Oh,
good.
he lost the shuttle. He's gonna lose the Reaver.
He does kill the Reaver. He backs up.
There's
FlaSh
no
is gonna
way
try to pull
FlaSh
the
can push
trigger.
into this.
He's gonna one-shot.
Oh, well, it's 3 goons against 2 right now, but I think FlaSh has a bit more damage.
It's held
on
him
his
back.
goons. More
Now
goons
he's gonna
are
have a
coming.
big economic
There should be 4
advantage.
on the way for Snow right now.
Now again, killing the shuttle and the Reaver is the most important part, because it's gonna be a while before you have the same kind of push potential.
I think Snow should start mining again. I don't think he should start losing probes to this. It seems unnecessary.
Great control here by FlaSh. The probe's actually getting in the way here.
Yeah, they certainly are. And look at this. It's the same amount of goons, but you also have probes. Like, you're going to smash this as Snow.
No, this is where Snow really understands the nuance of micro in the matchup. You're fine with 4 probes not mining, just so they can add an extra bit of damage. This is normal. The slow crawl with the Reaver.
Yeah.
You're trying to, I think he might even get a second Reaver and then a shuttle, or he gets a shuttle after that, and basically the Reaver gets there, and then you have a shuttle
Got to
to
keep those
with.
alive.
But there really
Oh,
is
no,
not
he's gonna lose
a
them.
plan B here. You're trying to end the game.
Hey, he doesn't have much shot outside of this.
Snow has a very good read right now on the situation.
Oh, another goon gets picked off. He's got to be careful, though. You don't want to overextend here, right?
Let's be totally clear here. If Snow holds this, he wins.
Yeah. I think FlaSh, he's pushing too hard with some of these. Okay, a good Reaver shot there.
Oh, he's
but
gonna get
Snow
the
is
Reaver
jumping on top
again,
of this.
man.
Good splitting.
Oh. Okay, gets off one final Scarab here. Oh, man, this just, I
think he
can't
did
imagine.
it. I think he did it. I think
it's
Snow
broken.
just showed what a genius he is when it comes to playing against random. He knew FlaSh wouldn't scout. He got the builder advantage. FlaSh actually had a very small window where he started to take a lead. Snow, I think, is parried.
It's a very good point that Tasteless just made. Because FlaSh is random, he doesn't want to show his hand by scouting to tell his opponent what race he is, so Snow just blindly expanded. He had a free expansion up, like, immediately. Very good. Now he's held this back, and now he's going to have an economic advantage, and you would think he would start powering up either on tech or gateways, so FlaSh is going to be behind here for a while. I don't think FlaSh should continue attacking this.
Played very well and defended correctly, and is continuing to garner all the resources that are in these in this additional base. Snow is playing just strategically the PvP of his life here. I mean, this is just incredible. And again, talk about punishing a random player and a player that knows that you had to scout him.
Yeah, there's a lot of metagaming going on right there. Now, FlaSh is still producing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
right, he should have, like, it seems to me like Snow can't lose this, but, I mean, you pop out a Reaver, there has to be some tiny chance he wins.
He might get Scarab damage or something like that, too. I don't know. I don't know what else where the resources balance out to. But, yeah, I mean, this is all he has, right? And as long as he's mining and he's got Reavers, you might as well try. But I do think that Snow basically now has won the game.
Yeah, Snow right now, you can see his unit movement. The Dragoons, the way they're fanning back and forth. They're just looking for anything that might be out there while they try to move across the map.
Correct.
He's like, oh, is a shuttle coming? Do we have a probe out here? Do we have goons anywhere? This is like a nice fanning motion. It's one of the things that Snow is just brilliant at. But is he going to actually make it across the map? Does he want to attack soon? Does he just wait and let his economy kick in more?
You know, I don't know for sure, really. I mean, I think generally in PvP, once you hold off a push like this, you're just playing it out. You're just developing, and you're going to go for...
He's got 2 Reavers now.
Yeah, of course. That's what he's been waiting for.
Would you get speed with this, or no? I think he has 1 gas.
You don't
so
have the gas. You don't have the gas for it, no.
Okay.
Speed, you really do need a... I mean, there's one cute one-base shuttle speed build, but generally speaking, a game that looks like this, speed is not going to
Oh my god, is he running around?
Hey.
I don't think you ever have the money for it.
Snow's position looks kind of funny here, doesn't it?
It does.
FlaSh is actually going to get position on him. Look at that.
Oh my god, he's gonna get... No way, he's gonna trap that army?
Look at that. This is actually a really big moment for FlaSh. All right, Snow microing back.
Yeah, I don't know how he just got outmaneuvered
Yeah,
here.
he got sick position here. He was expecting him to come from one direction, came from the other. And now look at this, FlaSh going for the attack. This could turn into a base trade of some sort. No, it looks like Snow's going to come up for the flank.
Snow's Dragoons are too far behind. FlaSh is going to get some damage here.
Now.
Oh, doesn't quite get the shuttle. Dives pretty heavily there. The rest of the goons coming up right now. FlaSh has a lot. He's killed a bunch of those goons.
Oh my god, did he just throw this?
I don't know, Tasteless. Let's see. I mean,
there's no way Snow can kill that with the 2 Reavers there, right?
Oh, the rallies are killing me here.
Killing Snow
He's pushing into their production. I don't know if I agree with this. I think you have to stay in... His Reavers are out of position. His Reavers are away from his army. He needs to pull them up to that choke more.
Oh my god, look at this. Okay.
Oh yeah, his Reavers are just going to die here, right?
Okay, the Reaver's just going to sit here and take the shots, kill off a bunch of goons.
Oh my god,
and
those Scarabs were so good. Oh my god, dude, he beat him.
2-0.
Dude, no way. Snow, there's no way Snow just lost that game. He was up, he was doing so well. What the hell? Just being out of position for like 5 seconds just cost him that game. That is crazy.
With Protoss against Snow.
That's so crazy. He outpositioned him. I think Snow could have won that game easily. He just didn't have...
He just beat Snow in a best of 3 as Protoss. He 2-0'd him PvP. It's crazy, man.
Have his Dragoons in the right spot. You can't let that happen. That is crazy.
FlaSh goes the round of 8 with his random. Thank you very much.
Unreal. I am so shocked. I thought Snow played strategic.
I'm like very impressed, but at the same time, I can't help feel a little bit disappointed. It was kind of anticlimactic. Like, Snow was ahead, and all FlaSh did was Snow's units were out of position for like 10 seconds, and all FlaSh did was run around and won the game because of that. Feel a little bit unsatisfied. I felt like that should have been a longer game. Also, FlaSh has now advanced, so he's played Terran and then Protoss twice. So we haven't. I wanted to see him mostly. I wanted to see a Zerg, and we didn't get to see a Zerg today. So now he goes on to the round of 8, and I haven't seen his Zerg yet. It's kind of disappointing.
One of the best games of his entire life. But you have to be ready for the push. That's all they have. And when the Dragoons got pulled, when he hit him from behind, he just doesn't have enough.
Yeah, this is wild. Got to throw this out there. Right now, FlaSh, the greatest Terran of all time, his Protoss win rate is higher than his Terran win rate professional.
What does it mean, Artosis? What does it mean?
I think you know what it means.
That
Craziness from FlaSh. What an amazing
incredible.
victory.
I mean, think about this. In Game 1, FlaSh wins by out-strategizing entirely. Out-strategizing Snow. In Game 2, Snow out-strategizes FlaSh, and then FlaSh comes back and wins with just perfect mechanical play.
Yeah, he played really well. His micro was good that game, I thought. He had good micro overall. Some of the engages that he stayed in felt a little off because of the probes.
Right.
But then he just kind of walked up and Snow was slightly out of position, and FlaSh just got him. That was it.
It was incredible. I mean, it was really... It's so funny because like the game was so won for Snow.
It felt that way.
Yeah.
It really did. I was pretty darn sure we were going to Game 3.
Excuse me, he's going to be kicking himself for that. Yeah. He should not have let those Dragoons get around.
Man, that's crazy. Alright, we don't need to listen to the interview, I don't think. Just want to see the games. That is nuts, man. That's nuts. Alright, so we saw FlaSh's random. The greatest player ever has gotten out of a group, which includes one of the favorites for the tournament. The random player. Very impressive. Alright, well, as always, you can find me on Twitch. I'll have the videos to Artosis' comments about FlaSh playing random, as well as his channel in the description. I have the link to the ASL channel in the description if you want to watch. Want to keep watching ASL as the season progresses. Getting into the round of 8 now, so that's exciting. A couple of big upsets already though, so I can't wait to see what FlaSh does in a best of 5 series with random. That ought to be really interesting. Not sure if round of 8 is best of 5 or not. Feel like it would be, right? But that was so exciting. I was a little bit disappointed with how that ended, but man, I was excited to see how he did as random. Wish he had Zerg though. Wish he had Zerg in one of those games at least. We'll have to wait till next time. Hopefully he rolls it because there's not too many matches left. Alright everyone. Take care. See you around.